How you doing? This is Captain Vinny Catalano from Campsite Sport Shop, and today I'm going to be showing you how to tie a Clouser Minnow. It's a pretty basic fly, very effective here for stripers, blues, bass, and all other species. We're going to be using bucktail hair, white, and chartreuse, a little bit of crystal flash, your basic dumbbell eyes, and we're going to be tying on a size 1 SL11 3H Gamakatsu, but depending on the size of the fly you're tying, you could use any kind of hook you like. And yeah, that's that. We're going to show you how to tie one up. So we're going to start off by placing our dumbbell eye a little bit set back from the eye of the hook. Place it on one side. I want to give it a couple of wraps, then kind of straighten it out. And you want that dumbbell eye to be placed kindly and even so the fly rides straight. And after you have it nicely placed, what I like to do is I'll give some wraps on one side, and I'll wrap again on the other. After you got a couple of wraps down like that, I like to just cinch it up by going over those wraps you just made, by going underneath the dumbbell. And that kind of cinches it down. Now after you have your dumbbell on, what we're going to do is lay a little white bucktail hair up top. That's actually going to be the belly of the fly, because you want that fly to ride with the hook point up. Start up with my white bucktail hair. I'm going to place that right on top of the dumbbell, on top of the hook, the shank of the hook. What I'll do is I'll place it, put a couple of wraps, and then I'll straighten it out. After I get it nice and straight, I'll give it a couple more wraps. Make sure it's placed nicely on the top. Once I have it exactly where I want it, then I'll tie it in. After I give it a couple of wraps up front, I'll grab the material, lay it over the dumbbell, and just give a couple of loose wraps behind the shank. You want that riding straight like that. So once you have it basically like that, then we'll flip that fly around and we'll start off by laying a little crystal flash on top. What I like to do is I'll get the crystal flash and I'll split it like that, hold both ends, and wrap slowly down towards the dumbbell eyes. Once I have that position, then I'll split the flash through the hook so you kindly have it evenly dispersed on each side, like so. So now after I got my crystal flash in, I'm going to add on a little chartreuse bucktail hair on top of that. So what I like to do is I'll lay that right on top of the shank of the hook. Give it a couple of wraps like so. Make sure it's on there straight, and you can kind of disperse this with your finger. I'll put a little pressure like that so it gets all around. And I'll tie it in. Once I have a couple of wraps on it, what I like to do is I'll get the green, and I'll do the same thing I did with the crystal flash. I'll split it between the hook So you got an even amount of material on each side. This makes the fly ride relatively straight. Once I have it like that, now I'm going to give it a bunch more wraps just to lock it in place. So I have it wrapped up. Some people use a whip finishing tool. I just use my fingers. I'll grab it, lay it over. Put a couple of wraps in. Cinch it down. And snip it off. So now that I have my fly tied, you could use epoxy that dresses the fly up a little nicely, or you could just use head cement. I basically use just head cement. It's quick and easy and still holds up fairly well. So what I'll do is I'll place some up top. Make sure you got a decent coating in there. So after I got the fly fully covered, it only dries. It takes about 10-15 seconds to dry. And you got a basic Clouser Minnow, which is very effective, very quick to tie. And yeah, it's definitely a great fly to have in your fly box.